Live. Evening, everybody, and welcome to tonight's episode of Just a Little Bit, our live play D&D podcast, where you can listen to us all roll dice, make bad decisions, and get into trouble. I'm Evan. I'm your GM for tonight. The setting for our game is Obra, a homeworld of my own creation. Evening, everybody, and welcome to tonight's episode. Thank you all for joining us again. We're hoping to jump right into some adventure tonight, and so for that, I'm going to throw it right over to the cast and let them introduce themselves.
Hi there, I'm Bandit. I use he/him pronouns. I will be playing Flip, the owlmare, who also uses he/him pronouns most of the time. And Flip is very excited for Large Marge's party.
I'm Chase. I use he/him pronouns. I'm playing Calvin and Pork Roll, who both use he/him pronouns. Ready to get into more trouble.
I'm Joey. I use they/them pronouns, and I'm playing Thorn of Klanyana Sofra. Their fun fact is they're about to stab somebody. Who? We will find out.
And coming straight off of Thorn, my name is Tay. I'm playing Twid, the Stalsered Warlock, and Twid is probably the one that. I use he/him, they/them pronouns. Twid uses they/them pronouns, and Twid is probably the individual that Thorn wants to stab at the moment.
Not right now. You're about number 4 on the list.
Huh, that's an upgrade.
And I am Zach. I use he/him pronouns, and I will be playing Valen, who uses they/them pronouns. And their, fun fact of the week is they know one of the characters that we ran into yesterday, and it was quite shocking.
Oh yeah, Nettle.
So as a recap for everybody watching, our intrepid group of adventurers have been exploring the streets of Truehome, looking for the missing citizens of the floodplains under the auspices of their patron, Large Marge, a very legitimate businesswoman, and Valen and Bear Person. As a result, they have now come to discover that somebody was paying a rat folk by the name of Skibbets to kidnap people in order to feed her when she was hungry. They have come to the home of Naoko Tsushima, a prominent noblewoman and archaeologist, to see if she could use her magic to find out more information about a few of the items that were left behind by Skibbets that may tie back to his unknown employer. While there, they were asked by Naoko to help mend fences between her and her business partner, the floromancer Nettle. Unfortunately, when they entered her workshop, they discovered that some arcane magic had summoned forth an enemy long thought dead, the Yuan-Ti, once created for war by the Ardent Scale. They were thought destroyed 500 years ago at the end of the war, but it appears there's a nest of them still slumbering somewhere, and one of Naoko's relics was a link directly back to that nest that they used to enter her home. Our intrepid adventurers defeated the Yuan-Ti, saved Nettle, and have now find themselves in Naoko's only slightly damaged workshop. So we're going to join them there and ask them, what are they going to do next?
We have yet to destroy the Sorcerer. It's on my to-do list.
Wait, what?
No, nothing. Don't worry about it. I believe our plan is to go speak with Naoko about how she managed to open the portal to the Yuan-Ti realm in the first place.
All right. So I assume
something Shemesh and I are eager to learn.
So I assume at that point that means you're going to leave the office and head out of the workshop.
I have nothing else here to do unless... Nettle, do you have everything you need to leave? Do you have any ritual circles you need to shut down before we go?
Oh, no. I don't maintain any of that stuff. All of my magic is organic and locally sourced.
I felt it a question that needed to be asked.
I appreciate that.
Sounds like some solid magic. I like that.
Are we just leaving the dead Yuan-Ti in the lab?
They'll be fine. It'll be good enticement for Naoko to come back.
Can I just check over the Yuan-Ti's body real quick?
Actually, yeah, if you want to give me a investigation check, you can look over the Yuan-Ti Malison's body.
I mean,
that's going to be an 18 for Flip on investigation.
So with an 18, you take a moment to look over the body itself, and taking a look at the clothes, they definitely seem, you've met some ardent scale in your travels. They seem dated. They seem like an older style than the one that you're used to. Probably not surprising if it's true to be believed that they've been slumbering for the last 500 years. The creature that you're looking at has several loose coins on them, probably roughly about, you would figure, 8 silver and 6 gold pieces. But the money is all ardent scale money, and bears the ardent scale symbols all along the outside and sip them. And they also have a scimitar and a longbow in their inventory, as well as a dagger and a few like odds and ends that you think were probably just stuff that they brought with them from wherever they came from.
Okay, I'm definitely gonna take the coins just as curiosities, if nothing else. But unless somebody else wants them, I'm just gonna leave the weapons.
I think those may be best suited as, for lack of a better term, bribery for Naoko.
I mean, Netto, you could always use their bodies as fertilizer.
I don't know what.
Maybe not, Twid.
No, but to someone like Naoko, artifacts, clothing, coins, bodies as these are more valuable than coin. Considering I'm about to go ask several very accusatory questions. It might smooth things over when I am done. In addition, if you've grown attached to your blade.
I have.
Calvin's gonna resheath the sword in the stone.
Okay, so you want to. So actually, when you leave the office, you find that the whole building is kind of still in the mess that you left it in. The 2 dead creatures in the main room are still there, kind of congealing. As you enter that room, you find Naoko standing in the door, staring down at one of them with like mild confusion. She's dressed again in the long flowing kimono, her black hair loose now out of the buns and just falling down around her face. And she looks down at one of the creatures with like very much the I opened a box and I did not find what I expected to find inside of it look. Not really horrified, just puzzled.
Naya? Do you still look like Naoko?
Nope, dropped that.
Probably a good idea.
So, Lady Naoko, are you surprised to see such creatures in your lab?
Surprised and perhaps pleased. Are they yours? Did you summon them? And when she says that, she turns to Twiddlemop, like, did you do this?
Why do people always look at me when they ask questions like that?
The
Who
ritual
should they be looking at?
brought them here, along with Shu Yuan Ti.
I have a lot of questions. First question would be, what ritual circle? Second question, Yuan Ti is in not these things here, but actual serpent people?
I feel like Thorn's gonna gesture to Shemesh, who's there.
Oh, an ardent scale. And she says hello in the Scythian language, the ardent scale language. And he gives a little bow in response.
Did you not draw a ritual circle connecting to the casket in your laboratory?
Oh, no, I wasn't anywhere near ready to do that kind of work yet.
You did not draw that.
No, we were still in the cataloging phase at that point. I hadn't even translated all of the inscriptions yet.
Thorn's gonna look at Shemesh.
Do you know what happens when you mix random magic with arcane objects?
It lets 2 Yuan Ti into our realm.
Exactly. The university already wrote me up twice last year for things like that. I would have been very careful this year.
Naoko, what flowers were on the ring we brought you not moments ago?
Azaleas, why?
Just checking.
I'm gonna kind of move a little bit behind closer to Naoko and just be like, he's not just any ardent scale. You should ask him what year he was born.
Why would I ask him what year he was born?
Flip, now may not be the time for coyness. The Yuan-Ti, along with our compatriot, are from pre the flowering season.
And she looks at you for a long moment when you say that. And then she looks at Shemesh. And you see her sort of scan across his body, like she's looking at like the elaborate jewelry he has on both of his arms, the very simple clothing, but like very distinctive in style. And she goes, did he also come out of the casket and this arcane circle you found?
He was in your floor.
The
And she like turns to look at Twid like, in my floor. I assure you, I would be aware if I had already
The
scaled that
Yuan-Ti
hole in
pulled
my
him
floor.
To sum it up quickly,
Please do.
the casket is a portal to a Yuan-Ti nest from before the fall of the Frost Maiden and the end of the war. Our
The
compatriots,
university is going to eat their words when I find out about this discovery. They thought the 50 gold I spent on that expedition was way too much.
our compatriot is an original Serenity Keeper sent to destroy it.
I
Instead was
need
preserved,
to know,
frozen,
I need to know everything.
perhaps at a later date. There are questions that need to be answered.
And as you say that, you hear the voice behind you. Yeah, Naoko, some important questions. Like, why didn't you apologize like you were supposed to? Adventurers showing up in my office to save me is great. That is not an apology. We talked about this. Apologies start with I'm sorry, face to face. No notes, no adventurers, no magic spells, no servants. And like as she says that, she like pushes her way between Twiddlemop and Valen. And so just for the people who are tuning in, and just as a reminder, Nettle is a member of the Verdant, a race who are born from the plants of the Verdant Wheel. She is a tall female figure in appearance with lush green skin, and her hair, instead of being hair, is actually a thick net of both roses in a dark purple and actual nettle flowers in a dark purple. And she is Naoko's partner in business and in their research. And Naoko kind of like reels back a little bit. Oh, Nettle, you're okay. That's good. I'm glad to see you were able to recover Nettle. That's a bonus. And then kind of turns back to the party. You were saying
She held her own against a
Yuan-Ti.
full-grown Yuan-Ti for days on end.
Well, there's a reason why we're partners. But you were saying snake people, ancient lair, nest. I'm entirely right for this entire expedition. Continue.
Entirely right is not the word I would use.
Completely right. No.
Careless.
Cataclysmically correct.
Can I insight check Naoko?
Absolutely. Give me an insight check.
I would also like to do that if I can.
I'm not going to roll it because Thorn's about to punch her.
22.
Oh,
Thorn, are you
No.
still standing where you are on the map? Like, vaguely?
Look at the map. I don't know where I'm standing.
Yeah, everyone there. The map is up if you feel like you want to move yourselves around.
No, Thorn's more like here.
Valen's gonna walk up and kind of just like tug you on the, like, I guess, on the back of your armor and just kind of lean in and be like, wait, I'm confused. So Nettle said Naoko did this, but then Naoko seems like she doesn't know anything. I'm confused.
Nettle wasn't sure who drew the circle. I assumed it was Naoko.
Oh, that makes sense. Okay.
To Calvin, your insight check. With that insight check, you look at Naoko, and you distinctly, as she's sort of staring at the two bodies, and she flicks over to look at Shemesh, the look in her eyes is like avarice. It's like she's looking at a giant pile of steaks, and she's not eaten for several days. So you get the feeling like this is the kind of thing that an archaeologist could only dream about, and it's the kind of thing that could potentially like win her a great deal of prestige in the university and in the academic field that she's in.
I guess I'm more interested in she said, and you saved Nettle, that's a great bonus or something?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Did she expect us to not save Nettle?
I don't think she cares either way.
You get the feeling like she's less concerned about Nettle now that you've dropped some pretty significant opportunities in her lap.
I dislike her even more now.
I mean, not wrong.
I mean, she's a tenured professor. She doesn't have to be nice anymore.
Oh, since you say that, Thor's not going to be nice. I would call it careless and stupid. You left ardent scale artifacts that you did not know the purpose of behind in a lab that apparently anybody had access to, and let someone draw a ritual circle that you did not look into for days on end. Had we not gone in there partially for our own gain, who knows if they had gotten out?
I mean, of course, but I can't be held responsible or liable for that kind of thing. This is only a workshop, after all. I have students in here all the time.
But as you said, it was your expedition.
Which I was right about.
If word was to get out of what you let out, imagine what would happen.
A few you want to aren't that big of a deal.
The
Not
gate
with
leads
this kind
to
of
a
discovery.
nest.
Which you valiantly closed, I'm sure, and we're now safe.
And I'm sure the city guard's going to look at it this way when we tell them that you let Yuanti into the heart of the city.
The city guard is the least of her concern. When the embassies find out, they'll be rabid.
And as you said, she sort of folds her arms into her sleeves. And she goes, well, you could do that, but if memory serves correctly, Marge sent you, and you had some work for me to do.
We did, but before we leave, I would like a list of anyone who had access to the workshop between when those artifacts were brought in and when you were sealed out. Because it seems the circle was drawn then.
I can see about having the servants draw you up a list and sending it along to Marge's office.
Send it to the Ashahai embassy.
Very well.
Instead of sheathing the sword, Calvin's going to put it over his shoulder. I'm taking the sword.
The borrower?
Calvin's going to pull out his little scratch pad. The borrower. Yes, that one.
Were you able to draw it?
He's going to
He's holding
look
it.
at it in his hand.
But did it tell you were worthy?
I mean, it didn't set me on fire yet.
It didn't let some of us draw it.
Well, that's not surprising. You are a little unusual. The sword only allows those it deems worthy to draw it. The borrower borrows its energy from the elementals stored within that steel outside. I believe, if memory serves correctly, the translation called him the Kindler of Embers. So if you were able to use it, I'm happy to let it go so long as we keep this indiscretion between us. You can, of course, tell the guards that a magical artifact needs to be secured. I wouldn't want something like that on my property for an extended period of time, but negligence is a completely different discussion.
The guard will be happy to know you did everything in your power to keep the artifact safe until they could properly maintain it.
That's what I like to hear. This is why I relish doing business with Lady Marguerite.
The two corpses and their artifacts are yours to investigate. I have no need of them.
My appreciation.
If we could, to the matter of why we came originally, it has been a very long day and I need to see Shemesh to his embassy.
Of course. And she sort of looks you all over again, and you see that that animation that kind of entered her when she first found out, everything sort of fades away, and her whole features sort of lose some of their animation. I can look into the relics the artifacts that you gave me. The magic I cast will take a few days to be sure. I have to do some investigation and some corroboration. I can provide the results of my initial findings in 2 days. I will send them to Margarita's office.
Lovely.
Excellent. And thank you again for your service. It's most appreciated, as is your discretion.
Is there any way I can insight check that weird change again? Something. I mean, Flip is just still weirded out by the light switch, mood switch. I don't trust this. I don't trust this one.
You know what? Yeah, I'll say you can give me an insight check.
She's a noble. They're weird.
Okay. 18.
With your 18, you've been watching her sort of this whole time, and you've seen this flip between her two personality traits of one being very like outgoing and the other being very reserved. You don't think, from what you can tell, it seems like there's any kind of like outside influence or magical influence. It seems very much like the reserved personality is sort of her specific, is like a purposeful choice.
Okay. So yeah. She's just using a mask. I get that.
And as you're saying that, Nettle puts her arm in Valen's arm and goes, Valen dear, you know what? I think I'm going to take a little time away from our work. Do you mind escorting me out?
Valen will lead in and be like, "Oh, of course not. Like, let's go." And I'll like kind of quietly just be like, "Honestly, you need better friends. She seems like she does not care about you."
I'm starting to realize that.
Come on, Nettle, let's go.
Flip is definitely gonna be like shooting daggers at Mayoko on the way out too.
As you're going to pass by Calvin, Naoko will reach out and she kind of like touches your arm to get you to stop. She goes, I'll have the stone delivered to Lady Margarita's office as well.
Could you actually deliver it? And he'll like pull a scrap of paper out and write down his workshop's address.
Of course, I'll see that it's done. And again, I appreciate your discretion. You seem like the more level-headed member of your party, and I appreciate that.
Twid is trying to climb up onto the stone to look down into the hole that the sword came out of.
If you want to look into the stone, you can. If you want to look into it, you can give me an investigation check.
Thorn is gonna say before, as they're escorting Shemesh out, that would be me, and then leave.
Twid got a 9 for investigation.
You sort of stick your face into the hole in the stone, and you're trying to look for something, and you realize it's very dark in there because you're covering the light as you lean in.
As Valen and Nettle are promenading out, I'll just kind of, in passing to Naoko, be like, "Oh, it was so nice to meet you. You should get some rest, though. You look tired," and just walk out.
Ooh.
That's some shady shade.
I love Valen so much.
Right.
Get in, loser. We're going shopping.
Valen, are you returning home for the evening?
Yeah. I figured that was probably better with us anyway.
I'm not opposed. Don't feel the need to wait up for me. I feel as if I have a long night ahead of me.
Oh, don't worry. You know us. We're going to have so much catching up to do anyway. And I give Nettle like a knowing look.
Yeah, and so Thorn is gonna escort Shemesh to his embassy first. Because I'm not walking into the Ashahai embassy with an ardent scale next to me. That's just a recipe for an international incident.
All right. So you arrive not too long after you leave Naoko's home at the Ardent Scale Embassy. It is in sort of the outskirts of town. You know that the Ardent Scale once ruled a lot of this region, and their loss sort of hit them significantly, and as a result, they are only just now sort of returning diplomatically to the area. The embassy is a very exotically built building with graceful spires that sort of stick up underneath, and has a very to it like Babylonian Middle Eastern inspired style as you enter. The large entry hall is sort of letting in the light as it's now later in the day, the afternoon sun, and you find a ardent scale man with deep silver scales sort of standing in the middle of this open area, eyes closed, hands folded, and he seems to be just lost in thought.
Thorn is like stiff as a board, pointedly hands like in the air, not near their blades, but they don't know where to put them.
And I assume you walk up to them?
I assume we walk up, and Thorn is going to give a small cough.
As you do, The Arden Scale man sort of tilts to one side, and as he opens his eyes, you see that they are completely glazed over with like a milky white color. And he sort of turns his head to a little bit to the side, but he sort of looks a little away from you. Greetings of serenity upon you. How may I be of service?
Thorn's gonna look to Shemesh like, you want me to do this? Do you want to do this?
You very much like.
I bring good and grim tidings tied together. Forgive me, I'm not sure if you are the one I should deliver this missive to. We have recovered a lost compatriot of yours. A Serenity Keeper.
Ah, it is always wonderful to have another Serenity Keeper's return from
before the war.
You see that his expression stays pretty much the same. And he goes, from before the war? Of course. And he turns to Shemesh, who's standing there, and reaches out a hand, and Shemesh presses his hand against his. And there's this long moment where they sort of quietly stand there, their hands pressed together in the air between them. And he gives a nod of his head. Welcome back to the fold, Shemesh. It is always good to meet a Serenity Keeper of such great esteem. If you would follow me, please, I will see you to the other Arcanists.
Don't hold up a hand. You may wish to collaborate with the guard about securing the artifact until more can be done. And Shemesh, Lady Nyoko is as a belladonna, beautiful and disarming, but beneath. Do you catch my metaphor?
Yes, I believe I do.
Good. If you'll excuse me, I must retire to my own people for the night. I feel they should be aware of the situation.
I appreciate your help, and I appreciate you freeing me from my bonds. I will, of course, remember the help that you gave me.
You know where to find me should there be anything else I can provide.
Of course.
And Thorn will give the other Arden Scale a small nod and walk away, and they're going to stop by their own embassy to try and smooth things over.
So you're going to go to the Ashahai embassy?
Yeah.
All right. I will say for brevity's sake, you arrive at the Ashahai embassy. You've been there before. You have only been there briefly. You have not spent an amount of time at the Ashahai. This embassy is much closer to the Palace District and the university, as the Ashahai are currently, and for some time now, good friends and allies of the prince and the loyalist regime of Truehome. The Ashahai have provided him with diplomatic aid, they have provided him with allies and mercantile aid during the course of the war with his uncle. As a result, the building is nice. What you notice most interesting of all is that most blocks have lamps set up that have lamplighters regularly lighting them, and as the evening's starting to set up, most of them are lit. None of the lamps around the Ashahai embassy are fire. Instead, they glow with a cold blue light that you know to be the result of rhyme ice magic. So they cast their own distinctive, like, fairy fire glow over the block around the embassy, which is surrounded by a large stone wall.
Thorn is somehow more relaxed?
And I will say you enter there. You are met at the very front. The room that you enter into, unlike the Arden Scale entry, which was very elaborate and well made, this was very small, very simple. There's a wooden desk across from you. It's a stone room. There's a single Ashahai man sitting at the desk across from you. The small pin holding closed his cloak has the head of a boar on it, stylized boar head, which you know to be the Adaran clan, who are like the law keepers of your people. And when he enters, just sort of continues to looks up at you, inclines his head in greeting, but waits to hear what you have to say.
I have concerning news to bring before the embassy. One of the archaeologists of the school returned from an expedition with Arden Scale artifacts. including one capable of opening a gateway to a Yuan-Ti nest from before the war.
I'm sure you believe that to be true.
I slew 2 of them myself. It also brought back an original Serenity Keeper.
We will look into the matter. Thank you.
I felt you should be aware. The archaeologist holding it, Naoko. At worst, she is a negligent idiot. At best, a dangerous know-it-all.
Our agents will look into it. Thank you for your concern.
And then Thorn will walk away.
Yeah, they let you go.
Yeah, you need to hear this before you hear it through the grapevine.
Yep.
And then Thorn's finally going to go home and pass the hell out.
Okay, so you go home, you pass out. Everybody else is able to return home, so feel free to give yourselves the benefits of a long rest. The first one you've gotten since we started this campaign.
Woohoo! Long rest.
Her spell slots back.
So you know that in 2 days, Naoko will provide you with the results of her research. Calvin, the stone was delivered to your home later that day. So pretty much in the evening, they delivered the stone to your home with a note from Naoko that says, appreciating your discretion, and I would love to speak more about your research. And then everybody else, you return home. You're able to relax. You do know that waking up in the morning, you have 6 days until Large Marge's party.
Twid is gonna get busy with making outfits for people.
So Twid, you're going to spend some of your downtime on creating outfits for everyone for the party. I know that off screen you all talked about what you want to wear, so I won't make you talk out all the details on the stream right now. We'll save those as a surprise for the party. Instead, I will ask, is anyone else going to be making use of their downtime? And what would you like to do? You have 2 days until the delivery of the information, 6 days till the party.
Thorn is gonna be. Because is Nettle staying with us? Is that the plan, Valen?
Do you invite Nettle to stay with you?
I think that's what Valen's doing.
Oh, well then yes, Nettle
Is Nettle staying with us?
because she's in between places right now.
Yeah, of course. She's staying with us.
You need some time to collect herself and really think about what's the next step forward for Nettle.
Although Thorn will say, Valen, you may wish to cook for the next few days. I don't know if you've ever sampled Ashahai cuisine. It is specific.
She has, and she loves it. It's so authentic.
I'm surprised to hear that. Yeah, Thorn is going to be spending the time while they're with Nettle, cook them some traditional food since they know they like it now, and ask them about Naoko. And do they think Naoko drew the circle? If not, who do they think could have done it?
Okay.
Is Naoko even saying a word of truth?
So you're spending your downtime getting to know Nettle better and sort of pumping her in a friendly manner for information.
Yeah, just this does not sit right with Thorn.
Okay.
And Thorn needs to know who they can trust.
Roll for me a let's call this persuasion.
Ooh, yay. Ooh, that's high, 23.
23. So you and her get along very well. Verdun and the Ashahai have a long history together as allies. Luckily for you, she spent some time living amongst the Ashahai, learning about the plants and the druidic arts that they make use of. So she likes the food. She's familiar with their culture. So you have a real bonding moment. As a result, she does feel pretty comfortable with you, and she shares with you that her experience with Naoko was pretty frustrating. Early on when they were doing research together, it seemed like Naoko was very interested in everything she could learn about her, in the applications of all of her mastery with plants in their research together. But with time, as time passed, Naoko lost interest and she stopped being a curiosity. Naoko started getting colder and colder and more focused on her research and her accolades amongst the university. She does let you know that Naoko has 7 students who are working closely with her at the university, and all of them have come to the workshop in the last few days before their fight. And then also that she had several members of the university as well as some of their generous benefactors come over to look at her recently recovered relics the day before they fought. She didn't get to meet them herself, but she does know that at the very least, one of the dean of the School of Antiquities was there, and he brought the benefactors with him.
Am I unreasonable for being as concerned as I am? This is to Valen. Am I unreasonable for being as concerned as I am, or am I right in thinking that Naoko is a tremendous moron?
I think she strikes me as being slightly more on her game than she's giving us, than she's showing. Like, she looks like she doesn't know what she's doing, but I think she's secretly like planning something. I don't trust her. I get a bad vibe from her. Nettle gets a bad vibe from her now.
To let that many people around artifacts she did not even know the purpose of, it horrifies me. You know I will follow you everywhere you go, but as your friend, do not walk this path.
Very well. All right, so that's the 2 days you spent. I will assume that Valen aids you in that.
Yeah, I say, like, whenever I'm not having to, do any sort of like duties at the temple that I'm responsible for, I'm just kind of hanging out at home and we're chit-chatting about all of this.
And I know that, Calvin, you wanted to do some of your tinkering.
Well, it changed now because I didn't expect to actually get the rock.
Oh, you didn't I mean, you have to have the right thing that she wants.
So
Just not to go to the garden and tell them that she's in
I
Kansas
already bought all the material I need.
Okay.
And so I guess I gotta sit down and attempt to start tinkering.
What are you going to work on first? I know we talked about a few projects.
I'm gonna start work on my hand cannon.
Oh, so you want to start work on your gun first?
Yeah.
Okay. So I will say, if you want to begin work on the actual body of your gun, you know that the triggering mechanisms, you still have to find out exactly what magical items you're going to need, but the gun itself, just base model, you can start building it now. In the 2 days, I would just need 2 tinkering checks for the 2 days.
Would you like actual Tinker's Tools checks, Smith's Tools?
Tinker's Tool. At this
Tinker's
point.
Tools
Yeah.
with Dex?
Mm-hmm.
So day 1 is a 7.
Okay.
And day 2 is a 16.
16. Okay. So the first day you don't make very much progress. You start to collect all of the pieces and odds and ends that you need. Unfortunately, in the result of you spend too long of that part of the day figuring out the plans. You have to rework it, and you realize that the material you wanted to use in the beginning isn't the right material. It won't stand up to the amount of force and the explosive nature of firearms. You have to start again. And so you lose the first day's progress. The second day, though, you set down a good plan. You work through the steps necessary, and you feel more confident that you're making progress on your firearm. And I assume the 2 days over, the party, and then Twiddlemop, you were working on that. Flip, was there anything you wanted to do?
I believe I had a date with Elena, the cleric of Divina.
Okay.
I can't remember for when that was scheduled, though, so maybe that's not yet.
I believe it should be the day after you get Naoko's research back.
Okay.
Before. So this would be the right time. It was the day before.
Okay. Basically just going to go on the date. Flip is, like I said, kind of 50-50, trying to get more information on the sewer monster that we're generally investigating. But also, Flip isn't going to pass the chance for a good date. So he's, also there for a good date.
Okay, so you know what? Just give me a persuasion check as you are carousing with the cleric of Divina.
While that's happening, that I never told Naoko to send the list to the Asha. I just let her send it to Marge.
Yeah, it's fine.
So that's a 23 on the persuasion for Flip.
You have a wonderful date with Elena. You laugh, you have fun, you take her to see a few of the, you let her take you to see a few of the sites that match her stories that are here in Truehome. As a result, you learn a little bit more about the city, you learn a little bit more about Elena. When you ask her about her time in the sewers, you learn a few facts that you didn't learn the first time. The entire time, she was there for 2 days. During that time, before you showed up, in those 2 days, no one else came to visit her as far as she knows. Skivets did not feed them. One of the prisoners was taken, a Ashbourne woman who was taken from the floodplains. And that was the last person that she saw taken. And it seemed like the entire time she was interacting with Skivets, he was constantly concerned that there wasn't enough, he hadn't captured enough people. You heard him mumbling to himself several times that he wasn't going to meet his quota.
I mean, we all have deadlines to work with.
Bosses, right?
Exactly. Excellent. So I'd say once, Flip feels like he got any of the juicy information out of Elena, then he'll, flip his focus to a more intimate evening.
So you feel like you have an enjoyable evening, and that comes to a close, and we'll say there that everybody's downtime is taken care of, and we'll move on to, would you all like to go to Marge's office to pick up Naoko's results?
Very much.
Okay. So we'll move us back to Large Marge's.
Oh, thank God. I need Marge in my life. Not that we don't already have enough Marge in my life, but I want more.
I mean, that's fair. Everybody is on the map. I just dropped you over to the far right. So feel free to move yourselves into Marge's office. It's a little bit different than the last time you visited. So you return to Marge's office. It is located still below the Stuffed Dragon's Pantry, a very successful exotic I almost said barbershop. Exotic
Barbershop.
It could be a barbershop. Exotic butcher shop, where they sell a wider range of meats, especially specialty meats taken from monsters from the region.
I mean, if it's Sweeney Todd, then they're the same thing.
I mean, if it's Sweeney Todd, it is the same thing, but it is not in this instance. As you arrive, a number of the barrels of alcohol that you saw last time have been removed. Instead, you can see that there's a large wooden staging platform starting to be filled with boxes and things that has a couple of loose containers, some piles of textiles, and it looks to be like it might be the beginning of Marge's party preparations. You are led in by the twins, her twin Minotaur bodyguards, both of them hulking, about 7 foot tall humanoid figures. They're dressed in fairly minimal leather trousers, and that's pretty much it, besides the weapons on their back.
Hey, boys, hey.
Hair that falls just into their eyes, and as you guys step in, one of them kind of does to blow the hair out of his eyes. He's like, "Hey, Flip, how's it going?"
Oh, good. How are you boys doing today? Gonna give him a hair toss back.
It's been pretty good. We got the party coming up, and we're looking forward to it. It's gonna be shindig.
Oh, you boys will be at the party, huh?
Oh, we're always at the parties. Marge's parties can get a little wild, and she wants to make sure that everyone behaves themselves.
Well, behave, and Flip will give a little bit of air quotes.
I mean, you can only be so good, right?
Oh, don't I know it.
So I'll see you there.
Oh, definitely.
I'll keep it for you.
Perfect.
Twit is sprinting in, carrying Louis' outfit for the party over their head, because I'm assuming Louis was one of the first outfits they worked on. And she goes, "Marge, I've got Louis' outfit."
Twiddlemop, you're too good to me. You treat me so good. She goes, open it up. I want to see it. Don't make me wait. I've been waiting already. And for anybody tuning in who's not met her before, Large Marge is a Valinan woman. She is tall, about just shy of probably 7.5 feet. Big, kind of bulky human female body, but on top of her head is the head of a large bear. A black bear specifically, with the large snout, very intelligent eyes, and this time she has her sleeves rolled up so you can see that the fur continues down her arms and kind of comes to a stop just at the edge of her hands, which are currently humanoid. The party has seen her have both bear paws and human hands interchangeably. Open it up, I want to see.
How high is Marge's table compared to Twid?
Oh, you are probably, you could smack your forehead on her table without trying too hard.
I'm assuming you did running up.
Twid will like take the package and try to just like launch it onto the table.
Oh, Twiddlemop, you outdid yourself. You got everything that I asked for.
What's the outfit? I don't want to know.
Oh, you gotta wait. It's a surprise.
Oh, did she not? Didn't she say she was unwrapping it?
Yeah, she opens it, but she doesn't
Oh,
know
she doesn't.
that.
Okay, I just feel like, did she just pick it up to look at it? Okay, never mind.
The party's gonna be a special day. Don't ruin it for Louie.
It's Louis' 47th birthday.
I thought it was the 26th.
I heard it was the 25th.
You see her the package and set it to the side, and she goes, No, the party's special for everybody. It ain't just for Louie. We're having the city council over. It's the first time. I'm winning the Entrepreneurial Woman of the Year award.
Congratulations.
Of course.
Wow.
Marge, I'm so proud of you.
It's a family accomplishment, really.
It's all about family.
Of course. We run a very legitimate family business around here.
That's why I love working with you, Marge.
When you're here, your family.
Copyright.
How'd things go with Naoko? She's a tough cookie sometimes. You gotta watch her.
She's a weird one. I don't know about her, Marge.
I know about her, but you do not want to hear what I know.
Naoko's not that bad. She puts off a weird energy, but she's pretty legit. She works real hard. I respect that. She's got chutzpah.
Don't know the half of it. And Thorne's gonna give her the condensed. This is what she had in her office that someone got in and let out.
I'll ask around with a few of my friends in the God. I'll see what's going on with her.
She is sending a list of anyone who may have had access to the artifact.
I ain't got that yet, but I do got this for you. And she pushes a few things over on her desk and pulls out an envelope and hands it to you. And you see that on the back of it, there is the Shishimo family crest emblazoned on it, and it's just sealed. But she hands it to you across the desk. And
Thorne will
if you want
snap
to
his
move
hand
all of
open
your
it.
tokens into where you would be, sort of just to give me an idea. Cool.
That's about right. Yeah, Thorne will open it and see what it says.
All right. So what you get is, as you open it, the ring that you had given to her is inside, as well as one of the coins that you gave her to look into, just to identify it for you. You can see she lets you know in like a thin, spidery script. There's a few bullet points of information. The signet ring was given to Scrivets when he was sworn into service. The artifact itself appears to be made of just a simple assortment of semi-precious stones and like a common silver. So there's nothing special about its construction. At the very bottom, you can see that there's a small rolled scroll, and the last bullet point simply says, "If you would like to see a scene of the moment that I divined, use the scroll below."
Thorne's gonna look around and say, "Am I opening this now?"
I mean, Marge, it is your office. Is there somewhere better we should do this?
No, it's secure here. The boys will make sure we don't get interrupted, right, boys? She goes, "Go ahead, open it up. Let's see what kind of crazy magic Naoko's got going on."
Twid's gonna clap their hands and go, "We get to watch something!"
She scoops Twid up, and she's like, "You sit up here. You got to make sure you get a good view." and she moves Twid up onto the desk.
Both love and am disturbed by the two of them together. Thorn's gonna squash down that feeling and open the scroll before they think about it too deeply.
So you peel the scroll, and as you do, there is a number of there's a graceful script that rolls through the center. As you pop it open, you realize that unfolding it, you break one of the runes that was rolled into the inside, and the room around you shimmers and fades. Each of you are then suddenly feel as though you are severed from your body and simply floating in space. You find yourself back in the sewers, back in Scrivett's ramshackle little home that he built for himself, only this time things are different. Scrivetts is there, kneeling down on one knee, the hood pulled back so you can see his sharp little rat-like features, his head bowed. And before him, you can see there's a large figure, cloaked, tall but thin, cloaked in a deep purple, a hood pulled up so that the face is obscured by the darkness. But you can see that Scrivetts is holding a hand. The hand that's extended is still the same thing, very slim in appearance, and scaled with these deep purple scales all across it, ending in these large, exaggerated claws. And you see that Scrivetts is holding the hand, head bowed, as though it's mumbling it to her. And as you listen, you hear the figure say, "And remember, it is your job to see to my agents comfort and care so long as she remains in the city. You are to make sure that she is entertained and fed. Often you can do the same you can accomplish both with the same results. Labor in silence and ensure that no one discovers the work that you're doing. Take only those who are undesirable or unlikely to be missed, but keep her fed. Otherwise, there will be consequences. I have seen to it that you'll have some objects to aid you in your work. If necessary, you can find her at her abode that we spoke of previously. Do not go there except for on the assigned days. I have provided you this ring," and you see the figure pull a ring from within the cloak and drop it into Scrivetts' hand and sort of pull its own hand back out of his grip. "It will allow you to be identified as being one of our agents." And as that figure says it, you see the figure for a minute sort of tilts its head and turns towards where the viewer would be, where you all sort of seem to be floating in the room. And as the hood falls back a little bit, it reveals fairly a humanoid face, human woman, but no hair, bald head, but feminine features. And you can see the purple scales slide down the side of her face and into her neck. So they almost seem to be pushing up out of the skin. And as it happens, your vision fades. And you are back in his office.
Was the looking at us just where she happened to look in the moment, or is okay?
You don't think she noticed you? She didn't look at you. She just turned her head towards you, and the hood fell back.
I'll kind of check to see if I can identify what was going on there.
I mean, what are you trying to identify?
Like, is she a human? Is she something that's just humanoid, or is like?
Give me an Arcana check.
I'm not good at this. Why do I keep doing this? Nope. No.
No? Okay.
Someone else want to take it correct? Because I got nothing.
I mean, I will roll because that would definitely be something Flip is interested in if I can.
You have more than a 0, then probably.
Yeah, Valen got a 3, so anything could be better than that.
7?
You collectively, I will say that since we did talk about you meeting the Yuan-Ti Pureborn who also had scales, very different in appearance. So the Yuan-Ti seemed like it was in the middle of a transformation and had only those few scales. Everything about her figure was very elegant and well put together. It's almost like she was peeling off a disguise of some sort, and that scales were her like true form.
Twid wants to try to figure out if there was anything important or like identifying about the clothes, the robe she was wearing.
Ooh, okay. You know what? Because you have your proficiency in weavers tools, correct?
Correct.
I will allow you to make a check with your weaver's tools to call on your knowledge to see if there's anything distinctive about the style or wear of her cloak or her clothing.
What stat modifier do you want me to add to
Your intelligence on this one, since you're going to be calling on your experience as a clothing maker.
Okay, 1 second. Ooh, 17.
With the 17, the cloak itself is a little nondescript. She didn't wear anything very noticeable in her other pieces of clothing. Her boots were distinctive, though, to you. You are fairly certain. You remember that you were making that exact style of boot at one point when you were making Rionan dolls. You were learning about you were learning from a shipment of dolls that were shipped to here from Rion, the country to the north of Britannia that at one point ruled Britannia before drastic weather changes cut them off from each other. Climate change.
Twit is gonna look around and go, well, she was wearing you said Rionian? Rion? She was wearing Rionian boots.
Rion?
Do we know of the azaleas being a thing in Rion?
Give me a history check.
$23.
With the 23, no. So what knowledge you have of Rion, since you did study it a little bit, as it was the ancestral parent state for Britannia. Britannia started out as one of its baronies that later raised to independence when the flowering season changed the weather across the continent and blocked off Rion behind a giant, unending blizzard. Their symbol is the Pegasus, as the Pegasus Knight was their way of seeking dominion over other nations as they controlled the skies. As such, you don't know anything about the azaleas being tied to them as a nation. You don't recognize any of the houses that you've heard of as using an azalea as like their symbol.
That is strange, though. Like, I mean, that's not an easy trip to make, right? From Rion down here? I mean, I wouldn't know.
Well, so, being covered in scales with claws, either from Rion or in Rionan garb, working with comb because presumably the artifacts mentioned were the flying cloaks, which bore Comb's symbol, left an agent in a location within the city to be fed live humanoid victims.
What do you think about all this, Marge? This sounds fishy.
I don't like it. I don't like someone else muscling in on our city. They're good people. They don't deserve to be no one's meal.
I did talk to Elena, and she said that Shivitz was looking for even more, I mean, let's just be honest, sacrifices.
I don't like it. Fortunately, the truth is there's a lot of things that enjoy a live meal. You got your, the Osama Low tend to eat live food sometimes. There's various monsters, shapeshifters, and the like. You even got humans who do that kind of thing. Or, to be fair, it could be a necromancer. They like dead bodies.
Definitely something we need to get out of here.
Either way, it seems my understanding of the situation is that very soon, whatever this agent is not going to be getting their meal and is going to be upset. And who knows what happens when that.
Let me tell you, if you're ever responsible for greasing someone's wheels and you don't show up, they're going to be asking a lot of questions about what happened to Skivets.
And I fear these questions will be in the more violent monster attacking the city nature.
Or she might just go on her own initiative and decide that she's going to feed itself.
Question is, how do we find her? She seemed to have some sort of home or location in the city where she's staying.
I'll start asking around, but maybe you should look more into someone who's new to town. You'd say this Skivets hasn't been here this long. People only been going missing for like the last month or two.
The floodplains, or
We can check out Skivets' hole again and see. If
As you're talking about all that, Louis comes tumbling, running down the stairs. Louis is a small kobold, about the same size as Twid, so on a human about hip high, covered in fine little scales, essentially like an ardent scale, but shrunk down in size. Kobolds are the the very distant descendants of dragons. And he runs down, little tiny snout, little tiny horns sticking out, dressed very dapper though, in a white dress shirt with a vest over the top of it. And this time he has a little tiny like top hat that's shrunk down so that it fits around his horns. And he runs down with a letter in hand. Marge, you got a letter. You got a letter. It's about the party, I think. It showed up from a courier. And he like slides to a stop, and she waves to him to like, go ahead. And he pops it open, and he like opens the whole thing up, and he says, "Dearest Marjorie, I want to extend my congratulations on your reward, as it is a great accomplishment. I would also like to send my apologies, as I will not be able to attend and to see your face when you get what's coming to you. Signed with sincere regret and deep apologies, Mesopensapexatonic." And as he finishes saying the words, you all hear and the sound of like intense burning from behind you. As you turn to look at the pile of crates and boxes that had been pulled into her office, you see two of them start to essentially like burn and singe from the inside. And as they pull loose, two large globs of ooze fall to the ground, burning the wood underneath them, as they seem like a weird congealed mass of glowing, hot, molten blood and ichor.
Ew.
Marge, one of your boxes is leaking.
You see that what looks to be pieces of like almost a burnt and molten statue come with it. A hand floats to the top out of stone and then sinks back in, and a leg falls out of the side of the other one. And I'm going to toss them onto the overlay, so you can see where they are. They're basically falling. They're burning their way out of the boxes and fell down. And they are just like this. It's almost like a glob of lava that has started to grow the skin on the outside and started to harden a little bit. But as you watch it move, the skin will break and more of it will pour back out as it moves and shapes. And it seems to constantly like regain some of the hardness as it stops. And I will say there, we're going to pause for our break. We're going to give everyone 5 to 10 minutes to stretch their legs, get a drink of water. Marge's voice is a little challenging for me at the very end there, so I need to get myself some water as well. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. If you've been enjoying, definitely would appreciate it if you give us a follow. That way you'll know when new episodes and new content go live. If you're curious about our world, we have also just dropped today in our Twitter, which is linked in our About section, the information on the patron of the Ashahai, the Frost Maiden, and the new Frost domain that allows you to channel the power of ice and cold as a cleric. It's definitely something that you can make use of in your own home campaigns if you would like, and I'd love to hear your thoughts. We'll be back in just a few. Welcome back, everybody, and thanks for bearing with us while I took a little break. Just as a recap for anybody who's joining us since we jumped on the break, the party has returned to their patron, Large Marge, who has asked them to look into missing citizens. Upon returning, they learned a bunch of information from local noblewoman Naoko. They had a vision where they were able to see a strange, beautiful, scaled woman extract the rat folk's scrivets to capture people who wouldn't be missed and prepare them to be fed to her agent, who will be staying in Britannia, and specifically be staying in Truehome. Marge got a letter congratulating her on her soon-to-be awarded Women Entrepreneur of the Year, and saying that it was only regretted that it wouldn't be there to see the look on her face when she got what she deserved. As Louis read off the name of the person who sent the letter, he unfortunately summoned into being two large, glowing red oozes that poured forth out of boxes that had been delivered to Marge's office. And the party, in the break, has rolled initiative. So we will be joining them as they respond to the sudden appearance of these two sinister spheres. And Calvin, you're going to be starting us out. So if you want to let me know what you would like to do.
Question for you.
Absolutely.
If I moved here, could I get both of them in a 5-foot line, or is that wall blocking?
You can get both of them in a 5-foot line. That wall is essentially the platform is moved in. There's a small lip to it. That's about it.
Okay.
So you have clear line of sight.
So I'm gonna move there, and I'm gonna reach in to my coat pocket and pull out a weird little flask, and I'm literally just gonna take it in my hands and then smash it.
Okay.
And throw forward a stream of acid. And I need both of them to make dexterity saving throws.
Ooh, dexterity saving throws. You're going to make me actually check the book for this one because I did not write that down. All right, so dexterity saving throws. That is 14 and an 11.
The 14 saves, the 11 doesn't.
Okay.
So the 11 is covered in acid and will take 2d4 points of damage at the start of each of its turns as long as I maintain concentration.
All right, so I'm going to mark the one that failed, which was the closer to you, so that we all know that it has acid on it. And I'm sorry, what was the damage?
2d4 at the start of each of its turns.
Okay, so not yet.
No, not yet.
Okay, cool.
And then I'm going to say, let's go pork roll. And pork roll is going to go 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, and get there, because that's as far as he can go.
Okay. On that instance, we'll move over to Valen then. What would you like to do?
Seeing Calvin do the acid attack, Valen will raise their hand and mutter a spell and cast to the one that didn't get hit with acid a guiding bolt.
Ooh, okay, so first level guiding bolt or?
Yes, first level guiding bolt.
Roll to hit for me.
Ooh, that'll be a 24.
Okay, 24 hits.
All right. That'll be 11 radiant damage.
11 radiant damage, okay.
And whoever hits it next has advantage.
All right, so you summon forth the divine might of Velasta, your patron goddess. Channel a guiding bolt. It slams from your hand in its deep purple gray hue into the creature. As it does, you see it sort of. It's almost like throwing a stone into like thick tar. It plops into the body, and you can see bits of it fly off, spatter across the ground, and give like a little sizzle and burn. But it does seem to take the damage, and it is now outlined in this faint aura. And the next person who hits the second creature will have advantage. And so I'm going to mark that one just so that we remember. but you'll have advantage on it, and that will move us to the actually its turn. So it did not take the poison, so it's going, or it did not take the acid damage, so it doesn't have to roll anything. It's going to move up to Flip, and it's going to make an attack as the surface of it seems to harden and tighten up, and then before it throws a pseudopod out at you and trying to slam into you.
I don't like that. I don't like that.
Reach out and touch somebody. It wants a deep, real connection.
I do not give my consent for that.
Touch me.
That's going to be a 15 to hit.
15 is going to hit Flip, yes.
Okay. So you are going to take
Wait, is that
two
Hold on.
bashing damage and 6 fire damage.
Wait a second.
You don't get a reaction. You haven't gone yet.
You haven't gone yet.
Never mind. Damn it.
So 2 bashing damage, 6 fire damage as it slams into you, and as it hits, you feel it seep into your clothing and like clutch against your skin, and it pulls you towards it, and you are also now grappled.
Okay.
It's just looking for a real connection. It doesn't want to play games.
Well, that is not Flip's vibe at all. All about the games. Get off me.
Twiddlemop, you're up.
Twiddlemop is whirling around, reaching into their bag, not actually pulling out a doll in this case, but is pulling out the diamond they've pulled out before. Is going to give a nice little spin to the diamond. It's going to glow, I don't know, whatever kind of glowing a thunder damage would glow. Maybe a greenish? And it's going to and they're going to cast Chromatic Orb on the one that's grappling Flip. With advantage, I believe that's the one that had Guiding Bolt.
The one that's on Flip was the one hit with Guiding Bolt, so you do have advantage.
Okay.
Can we put it up there?
21 to hit.
21 definitely hits.
Okay, and it's 3d8. Uh, 14 thunder damage.
Thunder damage? Okay, so you... the diamond levitates up from your palm and sort of spins quickly as you chant the words for it. You can feel this concussive force sort of pulse against you every time the diamond grows a little bit brighter, and you release it, basically sending out this shuddering shockwave of sound, and it slams into the creature. You see it, it's very much, again, like somebody has slammed the surface of water. You see ripples wave through its entire body as where it's holding Flip, and little chunks of it just start to fall off of it before it sort of starts to reintegrate and solidify its form. And how much damage was that total again?
14 thunder.
I wanted to just make sure before I write it down. Cool. So it is starting to look as though it's having some trouble holding together as little bits and pieces of it start to fall off the sides. And the advantage is gone now. So that's going to lead us to the other one's turn. And it you know what? It thinks that it wants to get to know Calvin a little bit better.
Well, it takes 2d4 damage.
Want to roll that 2d4 acid damage for me?
Why do I have no d4s?
Do you want me to get it, or you got
I
it?
got it. So it takes 5 points of acid damage.
5 points of acid damage?
It can spend its action to wipe the acid off if it wants to spend its action doing so.
He's
I don't think
capable
it
of doing
does.
that?
I think instead it's going to reach out and attack you with another pseudopod. I'm assuming a 9 is not going to hit, though.
A 9 does not hit me.
So you manage to just slide out of the way as it flies past you, and it hits the armor behind you. That was a set of armor that Marge always has on display, and you see it slap back the like pauldron on the shoulder, and it slams into its body and starts to disappear inside of the ooze. And that's going to lead us to Marge's turn. Whoa, whoa, whoa. This isn't exactly a very nice gift. I don't appreciate people coming into my house like this. And you see her, she stands up, she reaches under into like a drawer on her, the side of her desk, pulls out a dagger and throws it at the creature. And I'm going to say it'll do the one that is holding on to Flip.
Fuck him up, Marge!
Yeah.
Such a part.
She definitely hits. It is technically with you. So. And you see the dagger sail past you, skids across where it's holding you with its pseudopod. It actually seems to slide down the actual like outreached arm until it slams into its body, dealing with you think is a pretty decent amount of damage. As it seems to be just barely holding itself together. Thorn, you're up. Oh, actually, I will say that Marge is going to move around, so she's backing you up, Thorn. And she'll give you like a slap on the back, and she'll be like, "You got this, Thorn. I believe in you. Twit 'em up. You stay clear. Those things will eat you."
And they're not gonna eat me.
No, you're fine. You're resilient. Twit 'em up. He's a little baby. What are you looking at him?
We all know who Marge's favorite is now. Okay, so filled with that rage. Thorn's gonna go up and just like, not even like draw the sword, just draw the sword through it. And I'm gonna attack it with a short sword.
All right.
And miss.
What'd you roll?
A 1.
No.
So yeah, 6 on the first die. Second attack though is a crit.
Second attack's a crit? Okay,
Yeah.
So roll for damage.
And you know, just for the hell of it, I'm gonna burn a smite.
Okay.
Because I want this thing to die. So 2d6 plus... How many d8? Is this an undead or a fiend?
I will say you just don't worry about it.
I want to roll up the dice.
Nobody has identified yet, so you don't know. Your smite might do more damage.
There we go. Hold on. There we go. 25 points of magical slashing and radiant.
Okay, so your first sword swings wide as you're trying to avoid hitting Flip, who is entangled in it. Your second sword, though, comes around and jabs right into the back of it. As it does, there's this detonation of divine energy, and you basically spew the thing all across the remnants of the crate that it was broken out of. And after a second, Flip, as you kind of wipe some of it from your eyes, you look down and you see that it's still holding onto your shirt, and then you just see it, and it slips down out of the bottom of your shirt and spatters to the ground.
Ugh.
Yeah, you are a little bit covered in...
Twitter's arms up cheering. Yeah!
And then Thorn is going to move to here. So if that thing tries to attack anyone again, we're going to block it.
So let's say...
Then I'm within 5 feet of all of you.
So Flip, you're up.
Okay, and I am no longer grappled, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Well, that kind of changes things then. Sorry. I'm just going to go ahead and need the other one to make a wisdom save of 12 as I cast Vicious Mockery.
All right. So let's see. Maybe a wisdom save. It fails. So what do you say to it?
Excellent. It's like, you're disgusting. Your friend is disgusting. You're all in my clothes now. It's disgusting. And it must really not like that because it does 4 psychic damage.
4 psychic damage. You got it. You're on the board. Calvin, it's your turn.
Just gonna also move back here.
Oh yeah, feel free to move yourself.
I'm just gonna smack it with a sword.
Roll a hit.
That is 21 to hit
21 hit. That'll hit.
for 10 points of slashing damage.
Okay. Non-magical, correct?
Magical.
Oh, it is okay. Yeah, that's right.
My arm blade is magic.
Your arm blade is magic.
And then I'm going to say, pork roll, it's dinner time. And pork roll's going to go 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. And then pork roll's going to get his attack.
All right, roll the hit.
And pork roll has a +4. Pork roll gets 23 to hit.
23 will definitely hit.
And pork roll deals 8 points of force damage.
All right. Valen, you're up.
All right. I need it to make a wisdom save of 13.
Okay, let's see if it can do it. It does. It makes the save.
Damn. Okay. Tried to toll the dead, but I guess it didn't want to die.
No, I wasn't interested in that. Twid, you're up.
Twid is going to look over at Marge and say, "Don't worry, Marge, I've got this," and pull out Lucretia, hold out Lucretia, Twid's doll, right in front of themselves, and fire off an eldritch blast through Lucretia.
Okay, roll to a hit.
There's a surprising lack of dolls this episode so far.
I mean, Twid never disappoints.
13?
13 hits.
Okay, D10. I'm not used to rolling D10s.
Warlock!
Ooh, 13. 13 force damage.
13 force damage, okay. So you pulse that with your blast, and it slams into it, and you can see that the whole thing sort of folds in on itself from the force before bouncing back, trying to collect itself. As it does so, you can see that the surface of it starts to roil more and more as though it's getting agitated. I'm going to say it's going to reach out and swing with a... Oh, you know what? Actually, hurt like it is, it's going to take a shot at Marge.
It takes 2d4 at the start of its turn.
Oh, yeah. Roll the 2d4 for me.
6 points of acid damage.
6 points of acid damage. Oh, it's looking real not good. As acid pours over its body, you see it contract in upon itself, and a whole portion of it starts to spin around the center, and it shoots out basically like a smoldering piece of its own body at Marge.
Pork roll is going to give it disadvantage.
Okay.
With his reaction.
I believe with the reaction, Marge has to be within 5 feet too.
No, pork rolls is...
The defender imposes disadvantage on the attack roll of one creature it can see that is within 5 feet of it, provided the attack rolls against a creature other than the defender.
Okay.
Yeah, pork rolls is the attacker, mine is the defender.
Yours is the defender. All right, so Pork Roll at the last minute slams his hand up and knocks the piece of glop out of the air, saving Marge from taking a fiery smash to the face. Pork Roll, yet again, the MVP.
Pork roll will, again, dab.
Oh.
Why? Why must you ruin everything you love?
Why must you make it? Why would you make it worse? It comes back to Marge, and she goes, "Twiddlemop, that's amazing. You're doing so good. All those lessons you've been taking are really paying off. Did you see him, Flip? He's the MVP of this fight."
He's so good. Pork roll's the best.
And Marge is gonna just let Thorn. You want to clean up?
Bring it on, Thorn.
Hold on. Stupid app. What the hell? I'm assuming a 10 doesn't hit?
10 does not hit.
Try this again. I'm never using this app again. I banished it from existence. We're not going to speak of this turn. Who's next? Flip, you're up. Clean up.
Here,
You tried, Thorn. That's all that matters.
I rolled a 2, and then I rolled a 1.
Oh boy.
yeah.
I'm not using that dice roller over again.
Sorry. I'm gonna go ahead and just cast a first level fairy fire at it, so I need it to make a dex save of 12.
Dex save? Okay.
Yes. And I can draw my fairy fire real quick.
It makes it. It is not affected by your fairy fire.
Well, that's unfortunate. I am gonna throw a bardic inspiration at Calvin.
All right, so Calvin, now inspired by Flip, and the basement now lit up with the Technicolor strobe of fairy fire. It is your turn. What are you gonna do?
I'm gonna smack it.
Roll the hit.
22 to hit.
22 hits.
5 points of damage.
Okay, so yeah, with you slice out your arm blade and slam it down into the creature. As you do, you feel it thud into the floor behind it. The ooze quivers as though it's trying to pull itself loose from your blade as you hold it slammed into the ground. And it starts to climb up the blade towards your hand, and then it just seems to lose the will right before it encompasses your hand and just falls apart and back into the ground. As it does, you hear tunk, 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 and you see that several other pieces of what look to be like the remains of a statue that you saw before clunk to the ground as it seeps into a puddle beneath you. And combat is over.
Boom.
Flip is gonna kind of hurry over to Valen. Be like, Valen, my dear, if you don't mind, it got me good.
Oh, don't worry. Hold on. Hold still. And you will heal for 12.
Excellent. Oh, thank you.
Those were so nasty.
Gross. I do not like this friend of Marge's.
Someone wants you dead, Marge.
I mean, you make a lot of people angry when you're a successful businesswoman like I am. Although, and she walks over to the leftovers and she looks down, and you see she reaches down into one of the puddles and pulls out what looks to be like basically what looks to be like the head of the statue, which is about yay big. So it's very tiny in her palm. It's like she's holding, like a little bit bigger than like a breaker marble to her. And she looks at it, and you see her ears flatten down, and her jaw kind of opens up in surprise. And you see her like tilt her hand and drop it back to the ground. And she takes a step back.
Marge, are you all right?
It's been a lot of years since I've seen one of those.
So you're familiar?
Who is it?
I'm familiar with the statue. I don't know what the hell that thing was, but a few years back, when my family was still getting established around here, there was a demonologist who liked to summon up a lot of demons to try to solve his problems for him. And, I took care of a lot of them. He had these idols all over the place where he lived. A lot of demons died that day. I never did find the bastard, though. He got away.
And you?
Well, it's been a lot of years. It seems like it's a good time for us to catch up again.
It seems your new award is coming with some new notoriety.
The price of being famous, kid.
It's true.
We see ya.
Thorn is going to walk over to the boxes that had exploded and start looking for anything that lists a delivery address or like clues as to where it came from or who sent it to her.
Okay. So why don't you give me an investigation check while you're looking at that? As you do, Marge looks at the remains of the statues and she goes, you know what? You're going to want to make sure you burn whatever's left behind. Those statues were used for some dark magic. It's some serious business. Ain't got no place under my roof. We got impressionable minds here. Louis, for example, has to work here every day. You okay, Twiddlemop? You all right?
I'm all right. Louie, are you all right?
Louis pops up from behind the desk and gives you a little thumbs up. I'm fine.
Louis, I've got your outfit here for the party.
Ooh, thank you. And you see him reach over and he pulls it down off the table and replaces it with the note. I'll just leave this here. I just want to point out, I don't know who delivered it, but it just showed up a little bit ago.
In the future, it may seem prudent not to speak aloud long, strange, arcanish seeming words.
I mean, to be fair, a lot of human names.
That was
weird.
I don't disagree with you, and it was not out of seeking to place blame. It was out of interest in seeing us all remain alive. Thorn got a 14 investigation.
14 investigation. You do see that there is a stamp on the outside that does mark this as having been delivered by one of the crafting guilds from the area. Specifically, it's from a local alchemist shop.
Can I check the note that Louis was reading? And I don't know.
Impetuous Alembic is the name of the shop that it came from.
ILEMBIC?
Yeah. Or so ALEMBIC. It's a piece of alchemist's equipment, which Twid would know, because I believe Twid has that proficiency.
No, I think it's Calvin has an alchemy proficiency.
Calvin would recognize it in Alembic as a piece of alchemical tool.
Perhaps we should pay this alchemist a visit. They may know who ordered the package.
While you're there, make sure I get my actual party supplies. I got 5 days, and I got to entertain an entire city council.
What was this alchemist shop supposed to deliver?
They were delivering me some fireworks.
You certainly got fireworks.
I'll say, it's certainly not what I ordered. Let them know I expect my delivery.
Of course.
Hard to find good alchemists these days.
I would not know. Are we going to the alchemist shop?
You wanted to read. Somebody was asking you about the letter.
Yeah, if I can, I'd like to see if there's anything unusual or like a odd signature other than the weird trigger word spell.
As you read it over, like you kind of do the front and back. There's no extra symbols on it. There's nothing else that seems to be like engraved on it. It's just the words at the very bottom.
Okay. Nothing here.
It does seem to be handwritten.
I'll hand it to Marge and just be like, I don't know if you recognize the handwriting, but it might be something handy to hold on to in case we want to track this individual down if you don't already know where they are.
I mean, I ain't even thought about this demon summoner for about 15 years now. He ain't been a problem for a long time. If he's back in town, he used to hang out down in the floodplains. He had a little temple down there. And she gives you like a loose description of where you can find it.
Do you mind if I hold on to this letter then, Marge? And it might come in handy in tracking them down.
Of course, I don't want it around here. You never know who's using it to like sneak a peek inside of something.
It's true. I'm familiar with divination magic. Hopefully we can avoid anything like that.
Well, don't worry. You know, I take the appropriate countermeasures in my office when I'm in residence.
So smart, Marge. And I will pocket the letter.
All right, so you take the letter. She has provided you with, like I said, basically a rough location of where she found the his last known residence in the floodplains. To be fair, Marge just let you know that she never saw him herself. She only heard through the grapevine that he was doing business. He was selling his services as sort of a like muscle for hire. He would summon the demons to do his dirty work for him, and he would let people would pay him. And at one point, he was threatening Marge's business interests, so she took care of him.
As you should, Marge.
We will take a look at the temple and the alchemist if you would not mind handling the burning.
I can take care of that.
Also, fuck those bodyguards who did nothing in that fight, but Marge just jumped right in.
Oh, those bodyguards are there watching.
Yeah, they watched.
There's only 2 of them.
They're just really far away.
They just had a lot of your skills.
Listen, they're just aesthetic. They're visually pleasing.
I mean, I'll say over the years, you've seen them put the hurt on people who tried to push their way into the office without being allowed.
It would have been so much of a shorter fight if I had made any of my other sword rolls other than the
I mean,
one.
you crit on a smite.
Yeah, you crit on this.
I got on one, and then I missed every other roll.
You
I
got
made.
you got it. It was fair.
You did okay with for yourself. I don't worry too
Yeah,
much
but
about
I'm
it.
upset.
I
Also,
will
that
say,
dice-
since it is the obvious thing, and I will bring it up, but you should remember to think. I will encourage you all to think about this in the future. Does anyone want to try to identify them?
Yes.
Give me a Arcana check or a knowledge or a religion check.
Oh.
Valen got a dirty 20 on religion.
Yeah, 12.
So the highest I'm hearing is a 20.
Yes.
Yes.
Excellent. So with the 20, you have heard about these several times in your clerical studies, especially as a cleric of Velasta. A lot of what you study has to do with the barrier between life and death, and so things like demons and devils and various other things come up as like a regular information you want to make sure you learn. This is an Ichor ooze. Ichor oozes are vengeful slimes that are created by the destruction of a fiend. Essentially, when a fiend is destroyed on the prime material plane, it leaves behind ichor in the place that it was slain as its body is pulled back into the underworld. When it is strong enough, willful fiend is full of hatred at the person who defeated it. It spawns an ichor ooze, whose only purpose is to hunt down and find the being that killed it.
Explains a lot.
They do not require sleep. They are able to sense the nearby presence of the one that they are hunting. And they are capable of draining the life force out of those that they entangle, which sadly I never got to see. So sorry, audience, you didn't get to see anyone get life drained. Next time.
Oh, I had a solution for that. Flip wasn't sticking around there for long. No.
And you have the pieces of what you assume to be like 3 separate statues that you find all jumbled in there.
Oh, I'm letting Marge set those on fire.
Okay.
I would, but that's not happening.
Yeah, it's fair.
Is there anything else we can do to help Marge, or should we just go find this demonologist and finish getting ready for your party?
To the alchemists to see what they know and tell them they owe Marge some fireworks.
Yeah, we need to do that too. I think we have a good to-do list.
I don't know where the alchemist is though.
I do. I assume.
I'm like, let's go. Okay,
Just
one
give
of
me
you
a
is leading
flat-
directions.
Just give me a flat intelligence check to see if you're familiar, or a wisdom check, flat wisdom check to see if you're familiar with the with that part of
Can
town.
I use my background as a guild artisan?
You could absolutely, your background as a guild artisan would 100% be relevant to this check. And I will say that you don't even have to make a check. You know who to ask in the guild, like the guild registry, and they will tell you exactly where to find it.
Boom.
So you head down. Luckily enough, Marge's office below the butcher shop is in the largest market district in the city of Truehome. As such, you are not very far at all from the alchemist shop. It is only a couple blocks away. As you arrive, it is tucked into the end of a little cul-de-sac. There's a couple other shops sort of around and a large tavern that is just across, that is basically on the other side of the cul-de-sac from it. that seems to be doing a pretty steady business as you're getting into like the middle of the day and it's getting kind of like the lunch rush. The alchemist shop itself is kind of stuck into a small, slender shop that goes very far back. The outside showing a glass alembic on the sign and saying the impetuous alembic beneath it. It has a large wooden door with iron bound, and you can see that there's on the chimney above, there's little wisps of smoke, and as they are rising, you see them kind of shift from colors to a green, a violet, a yellow, and there's little bits of sparks and little pops of electricity that seem to be coming up with the smoke.
I assume we just walk in because it's the shop.
Okay. So pushing into the
I want to go in through the roof.
pushing into the impetuous alembic, as you open the door, you are hit with this conflicting wave of scents. There is the sweetness of beeswax. There is the that tickle at the back of your nose that comes from like dust and all the dried herbs as you kind of breathe it in. And there's this scent of ozone that kind of wipes over all of it as you step further in. You can see that up in the ceiling above you, which is probably about a good 10 feet up and vaulted above your head. So where you're standing, there's another 10 feet above most of you that are 10 feet above most of you, more like 13 or 14 above Twid. That is open air. At the very top, it seems like some of that smoke is collecting in the rafters, and you can see that there's the same little bits of sparks and electricity running across it as it slowly shifts in color and kind of strobes as like yellow rolls across, and then a purple will roll across, and then like a deep aquamarine. No one inside the shop seems distressed about it. There is several people wandering between the shelves. You see that there's two stalls of red sort of wandering together. They seem to be deep in conversation. There's a Hoshin woman who is flipping through what seems to be like various packs of herbs, who is dressed in what you know to be university attire, the robes of a university student. And there's several other like what seem to be more workmen who seem to be buying some of the various like goods and like filters and potions. At the very back, there is a Stalstered on a countertop that seems to be designed so that the Stalstered standing behind the countertop is eye level with most of the humanoids who would come in. The Stalstered is similar in size to Twid, but beyond that, wildly different. So instead of being made from metal like Twid is, its body is constructed from a number of crystals. It has this long cylindrical crystal that rolls through the middle of it that very much looks like a quartz crystal. So it's a milky white, and you can sort of see the shelves behind it through certain parts of it, and you can see this occlusion sort of floating through the middle of it, and you can see the little tiny sparks of the creation energy that runs it. And then it has a set of arms floating probably about a foot away from its body that are constructed from these other large crystals that end in these dark obsidian crystals that form fingers. So for the most part, its body is clear or white, minus its fingers. And then it has a face that has been etched into the front of the stone in a rough approximation of like a nicely done but fairly rudimentary smiley face. And you can see it's floating, its arms sort of float away from its body and pick up several of the ingredients, start to pour them together as it seems to be working on something at the back of the shop.
Oh.
And Twin is a crystal Stalstered, one of the Stalstered who chose to construct their body from natural crystals. And also one that apparently has spent less effort making itself appear to be human.
Oh, so Twid, is this one of your people?
Twid is just remaining fairly silent right now, staring at the other Stalstered.
Flip is going to notice that Twid is not their normal, I don't know if perky is the right word, disturbingly excited self, and maybe just kind of step between Twid and the other Stalstered and just kind of greet the shopkeeper Stalstered. Like, good day, sir, or good day, how are you?
And as you say that, it continues to just stare at the potions that it's pouring, and doesn't like it. The face is sort of looking in your direction, but it's definitely sort of just off of looking at you, as its arms seem to be moving along, continuing to mix various things on the countertop.
So, hello. We're in your shop. We'd like some help.
As you say that, one of its arms reaches over and knocks a little bell closer to you, and there's a little sign behind the bell that says, "Please ring bell for service." And it sort of knocks it a little bit closer onto closer to you on the counter.
So like mutter under, oh, for fuck's sake. And just gonna kind of turn and look at Twid and see if they are doing anything else, and kind of walk over towards the bell.
Twid is just sort of mirroring right behind Flip, keeping themselves visually distanced from the other Stalserid.
Okay, so I'm just gonna keep myself between Twid and the other Stalserid and go over and ding the bell.
And as you do that, the hand float down and drop the various vials and stuff back onto the countertop, and it turns to you, folding the two hands together in front of its body, and goes, "Welcome to the impetuous alembic. How can I help you today?"
Oh, yes, help. Now you want to help. Lovely. Well, I have to admit, we're here on behalf of a friend who received a package from you that maybe might have been tampered with. You had a delivery for Large Marge?
Of course, Large Marge has been a long time, well-valued customer here at the impetuous alembic.
Oh no, I hate it.
Do you have the number of your order?
That's so good to hear. Unfortunately, we don't have that information on us, but we totally work for Marge all the time. It's cool.
Was blown up with the box.
Of course. We do note that on the order, it was for fireworks, so we are not responsible or liable for any unadvised handling.
And
I don't think that, and I'm going to turn to Valen and be like, what were they called? Gross Icker?
Valen will walk up and say, "Hi. Yeah, we understand they were supposed to be fireworks, but they were in fact ichor oozes, which then tried to kill us. And I don't think you want that to get around that you're trying to kill people who buy from you, right? Like, that's bad for business."
Valen, patience. I'm sure the Stalser did not mean to attempt to kill Large Marge.
Of course. If you could provide me just one moment while I consult my record. And as the Stalserid says that, its body, the center crystal that makes up its body, rotates around to the other side, and the face that's carved on the back of it is with eyes closed, and basically it's been carved to look like a little sleeping face. And you see the little light inside of it kind of thinking.
I'm gonna wave my hand at it for a second and make sure it's not paying attention to us. And then I'm gonna turn and bend down to Twid and just be like, "So what's up, buddy? Why you don't seem to like this one very much?"
He tried hurting Marge.
Oh, yeah, he could have. We're not sure about that yet, though. But good on you.
You'll see Twid is also holding Lucretia at the moment.
Noticing that, Flip is gonna stand back up and maybe scooch just a little further away from Twid.
As you say that, the faces of the crystal turn to snap back towards the smiling face. "Thank you for waiting while we consulted our records. I can confirm that Lady Marguerite's order was filled and sent out earlier today from this very facility."
And
pointed out it contained fireworks.
"I can confirm it did indeed contain fireworks, as I packed it myself."
is there anyone who could have tampered with it on delivery? Do you use a delivery service, or did you deliver it yourself as well?
Of course, we use the standard delivery service provided by the Alchemists Guild.
Can I want an insight check. I want to see if this thing is lying to me. Is that even possible with a Stalsered?
I mean, I don't know, Twid, are you capable of lying?
I mean, Twid can lie.
Am I capable of telling if a Stalsered is lying? That's another question.
Skill set.
Sorry, what was that?
I said that's a different skill set.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, does it seem like this is a pretty... To me, it seems like this is an honest Stalsered, but...
You need an insight check to see if you're trying to figure out if this Stalsered seems like it's telling you the truth or not.
Out of the tray. Okay, that's 18 on the insight check for Flip.
With an 18, there's that awkward pause when it finishes its sentence where you're thinking, is it going to keep telling me more information? And it seems like, no, it has answered your question. It does indeed use a courier service. It's not going to provide any more information. You don't think it's lying to you? You are definitely getting like that customer service voice and that customer service energy.
It's real.
Mm-hmm.
I have both given this voice and been given this voice.
But it does seem like it's being honest with you. You don't sense any deception, nor does it seem to be nervous about the fact that you are asking it about the fireworks. You would know from time with Twid, and I will say, like, probably in your life as a mayor, you have ran into other Stalsered before. They are perfectly capable of containing a full range of emotions, expressing them. They are not a mechanical people as so much as they are their bodies are constructs.
Of course.
Do you happen to know the name of the courier who took the shipment, or could describe them?
Of course. We have a regular courier that shows up. He is a human. His name is Corin.
Corin?
He works for the guild.
Have I met Corin before?
I will say yes. In your time as a alchemist, you have used Corin as a courier.
Is he trustworthy?
He seems nice enough. He's a young alchemist who is basically at the beginning of his apprenticeship. So he's being given all these tasks to prove that he's like committed enough to becoming an alchemist as an apprentice. Basically, a lot of the apprentices serve as couriers in the beginning to basically earn their place.
Mm-hmm.
You got to pay your dues.
Thank you.
Well,
We will be sure to follow up on that. Large Marge also asked that a new shipment of fireworks be sent to her.
Of course, we'd like to extend our condolences if there's any problems or danger that was created by this mix-up. I will be sure to replace the fireworks at no extra cost.
Thank you.
Of course. And thank you for coming to the impetuous Alembic. Please let me know if there's any other services I can provide.
Of course. Thank you so much. And I'm just going to ring the bell on the way out.
Have a great day.
As we're all walking out, the Stalsered is going to hear a low voice in their head that no one else can hear that says, "If we find out that you tried hurting Marge, we will come back and we will end you."
You're
And
just
then
there, staring off into space.
And none of us know, and it's so creepy.
Twin got dark-sided.
I will say, as you send that voice, you feel these tendrils start to roll up the side of your arm in this soft pressure, almost like something's like cradling the side of your arm. And you look down and you can see there's these little bits of shadow that seem to be reaching out to your arm out of your bag that you carry all your dolls in. And you hear a voice. "I don't like him at all, Twin. You should come back and you should do something about that. I do think It is very rude and very unacceptable customer service.
Twid is going to mutter under their breath, normal Twid voice. I don't like them either.
I agree, Twid. You should see about doing something about that.
Dirty 20 perception. Do I see these tendrils?
No, you see nothing. Yeah, you don't see nothing. And then you hear the voice in the back of your head say, "An alchemist shop is full of a number of flammable objects. It would be terrible if some kind of unfortunate accident were to happen."
Twid is gonna let out a little like maniacal laugh, like, and then like pull it back together.
Is something funny, Twiddlemop?
No. We should go find Corin.
That's suspicious as fuck. Insight check. 13.
13?
Twid's weird.
Twid's just weird. This is consistent with your experience of Twid up to this point.
I'm going to say Flip has probably also been watching Twid and is like, did I make the right decision back there?
I will say at this point we've reached 9:30, so now is a great time for us to break, and we have completed session 4 of just a little bit. We want to thank everybody who joined us tonight. We really appreciate it. We'd love to see you all interacting in the chat. As I mentioned before, if you'd like to know more and be updated about our schedule for posting, give us a follow. You can also find our Twitter in our About section, where I'm going to be dropping a lot of lore about the world. I just dropped the information about the Frost Maiden and my homebrewed Frost class, Frost Domain for clerics. Today, you'll be seeing some more information coming this week about the Valanin, the bear people that Marge came from. If you want to do any playtesting, please let me know if you enjoyed the class. Let us know if you have any thoughts or feelings about the episode. And if you want to catch up on anything because you missed it, you can also find it over on our brand new YouTube channel that is also linked. Thank you very much and have a great night.
Woohoo! Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.